Life doesn't always go our way, and you're right, life doesn't always go the way we plan. But here's the kicker. It's not about life going exactly as planned. It's about your attitude and approach to whatever life throws your way. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to breeze through life, turning every challenge into an opportunity, while others struggle with even the smallest setbacks? What's the difference between these two types of people? I'll tell you, it's their mindset. The people who seem to have it all figured out aren't necessarily luckier or more talented than the rest of us. They've simply mastered the art of acting as if everything always works out for them. And today I'm going to show you how you can do the same. Now, let's break this down. What does it mean to act as if? It means adopting the mindset, the behaviors, and the attitudes of someone who believes that no matter what happens, it will ultimately work out in their favor. It's about approaching life with unwavering optimism and unshakable confidence. But here's the important part. This isn't about blind optimism or burying your head in the sand when things get tough. No, this is about intelligent optimism. It's about looking at every situation, good or bad, and asking yourself, how can this work out for me? What's the opportunity here? You see, when you start to act as if everything always works out for you, you begin to see possibilities where others see problems. You start to find solutions where others find excuses. And most importantly, you start to create the very reality you're acting out. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in a job you don't particularly enjoy. Most people in this situation would complain, become disengaged, and eventually either quit or worse, stay and become bitter. But someone who acts as if everything always works out for them, they'd approach it differently. They'd say, okay, I'm in this job for a reason. What can I learn here? How can I use this experience to grow? What skills can I develop that will serve me in my future dream job? They'd give it their all. Seek out opportunities to shine. And use the experience as a stepping stone to something greater. And you know what happens when you approach life this way. Opportunities start to present themselves. People start to notice your positive attitude and your willingness to go above and beyond. Doors begin to open that you never even knew existed. This, my friends, is the power of acting as if everything always works out for you. It's not about waiting for life to hand you what you want on a silver platter. It's about creating the mindset and taking the actions that make success inevitable. Now, I can already hear some of you thinking, but Jim, what about when things really go wrong? What about when life throws you a curveball that you just can't see any good? And well, let me tell you, those are the moments when this mindset is most crucial. When life knocks you down, and trust me, it will, the act as if mindset isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about getting back up, dusting yourself off and saying, all right, this didn't go as planned, but how can I use this setback to set myself up for an even greater comeback? You see, success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how you respond to failure. The most successful people in the world have faced enormous setbacks. But what sets them apart is their ability to view these setbacks as setups for future success. Take Thomas Edison, for example. When he was working on inventing the light bulb, he failed over 1,000 times. Can you imagine that? Over 1,000 failed attempts. But do you know what he said about those failures? He said, I have not failed 1,000 times. I have successfully discovered 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. That, my friends, is the epitome of acting as if everything always works out for you. Edison didn't see 1,000 failures. He saw 1,000 lessons, 1,000 steps closer to his goal. And ultimately, it did work out for him, didn't it? We're not sitting here in the dark, are we? Now, let's talk about how you can start implementing this mindset in your own life. The first step is to become aware of your current thought patterns. How do you typically react when things don't go your way? Do you immediately jump to worst-case scenarios? Do you blame others or circumstances? Or do you look for the silver lining? Awareness is the first step to change. Once you become aware of your thought patterns, you can start to consciously shift them. And that's where the act as if part comes in. Start small. The next time something doesn't go as planned, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, if I were someone who believed everything always works out for me, how would I view this situation? What would I do next? This simple shift in perspective can be transformative. Instead of feeling stressed or disappointed, you might start to feel curious or even excited about the potential hidden opportunity in the situation. Now, I want to be clear about something. Acting as if everything always works out for you doesn't mean you'll never feel negative emotions. You're human, after all. You'll still feel disappointed, frustrated, or sad at times. The difference is you won't let these emotions define your actions or your outlook. Instead, you'll acknowledge these feelings, process them, and then choose to act from a place of optimism and possibility. It's about emotional intelligence, recognizing your feelings but not being controlled by them. This mindset also doesn't mean you'll become passive, waiting for good things to fall into your lap. Quite the opposite, actually. When you truly believe that everything will work out for you, you become more proactive. You take more calculated risks, you pursue opportunities with greater enthusiasm, and you persist in the face of obstacles because you know that somehow, some way, it will all work out in your favor. Let's talk about persistence for a moment. Persistence is a crucial component of the act as if mindset. When you believe that everything always works out for you, giving up simply isn't an option. You understand that success often comes just after the point where most people would quit. Think about it this way. Imagine you're digging for gold. You've been digging for days, weeks, maybe even months. You're tired, you're discouraged, and you're starting to think maybe there isn't any gold after all. Most people would give up at this point. But someone with the act as if mindset, they'd keep digging. They'd think, if I've come this far without finding gold, I must be closer than ever. The next shovel of dirt could be the one that reveals the treasure. And you know what? More often than not, they'd be right. Success is often just around the corner from where most people give up. By acting as if everything always works out for you, develop the persistence to keep going when others would quit. Now let's address another important aspect of this mindset, gratitude. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you naturally become more grateful. You start to appreciate not just the big wins, but also the small victories and even the lessons learned from setbacks. Gratitude is like a magnet for positivity. The more grateful you are, the more reasons you find to be grateful. It's a beautiful cycle that reinforces your belief that everything is working out in your favor. Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or a beautiful sunrise. As you practice this habit, you'll find yourself naturally noticing more and more things to be grateful for throughout your day. This practice of gratitude ties directly into another crucial aspect of acting as if everything always works out for you, focusing on what you have rather than what you lack. Too often we get caught up in what we don't have, the job we wish we had, the car we can't afford, the relationship we dream of. But when you act as if everything always works out for you, you shift your focus to what you do have. You see, success and happiness aren't about having everything you want. They're about wanting what you already have. When you appreciate what you have, you open yourself up to receiving more. It's like the universe says, oh, you're grateful for what you have? Here, have some more. This doesn't mean you stop striving for more or setting goals. It means you approach your goals from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Instead of thinking, I need to achieve this goal to be happy, you think, I'm already happy, and achieving this goal will add even more joy to my life. Now, let's talk about how this mindset affects your relationships. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you become the kind of person others want to be around. Your positivity becomes infectious. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and optimism. Think about it. Would you rather spend time with someone who's always complaining about how nothing ever goes their way? Or someone who approaches life with enthusiasm and sees opportunity in every situation? The answer is obvious, isn't it? By adopting this mindset, you'll find your relationships improving across the board. You'll be more patient with others because you trust that any conflicts or misunderstandings will ultimately work out. You'll be more supportive of others' dreams and goals because you know that their success doesn't diminish your own. There's plenty of success to go around. You'll also find that you attract more positive people into your life. Like attracts like, after all, as you radiate positivity and optimism, you'll naturally draw in others who share that outlook. Your network will begin to fill with people who support your growth, challenge you to be better, and celebrate your successes. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, Jim, this all sounds great, but isn't it a bit selfish to always think about how things can work out for me? And that's a fair question. But here's the thing, when you act as if everything always works out for you, you're not just benefiting yourself. You're benefiting everyone around you. Think about it this way, when you're operating from a place of positivity and abundance, you have more to give to others. You have more energy, more enthusiasm, more resources to share. You're in a better position to lift others up, to contribute to your community, to make a positive impact on the world. It's like what they tell you on airplanes, put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. By adopting this mindset, you're putting on your own oxygen mask. You're ensuring that you're in the best possible position to help others. Let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles that prevents people from acting as if everything always works out for them. Fear of failure, fear of disappointment, fear of looking foolish. These fears can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in our comfort zones. But here's the thing about fear. It's often based on imagining worst-case scenarios that rarely come to pass. When you act as if everything always works out for you, flip the script on fear. Instead of imagining the worst, you imagine the best. This doesn't mean you become reckless or ignore potential risks. It means you approach risks intelligently, weighing the potential benefits against the potential downsides. And even when you do decide to take a risk, you do so with the confidence that no matter what happens, you'll find a way to make it work out in your favor. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and taking action anyway, trusting that you have the resilience and resourcefulness to handle whatever comes your way. Now, let's talk about failure. In our society, failure is often seen as something to be avoided at all costs. But when you act as if everything always works out for you, you start to see failure differently. You see it as feedback, as a stepping stone to success, as a necessary part of the learning process. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall down countless times. But do we call those falls failures? Of course not. We celebrate each attempt knowing that each fall is bringing them closer to success. Why should it be any different for us as adults? When you embrace this mindset, you become more willing to try new things, to step out of your comfort zone, to take calculated risks. Because you know that even if things don't go as planned, you'll find a way to turn it into a positive experience. This leads me to another crucial point, flexibility. Acting as if everything always works out for you doesn't mean rigidly sticking to one path or one definition of success. It means being flexible, being willing to adjust your course as needed. Sometimes what we think we want isn't actually what's best for us. Sometimes life has even better plans for us than we could have imagined for ourselves. By staying flexible and open to possibilities, you allow yourself to recognize and seize opportunities that you might have otherwise missed. It's like the old saying goes, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans when you act as if everything always works out for you. You're able to roll with the punches, to adapt to changing circumstances, to find the silver lining in unexpected situations. Now let's talk about responsibility. This mindset of acting as if everything always works out for you goes hand in hand with taking full responsibility for your life. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control your response. Too often people play the blame game. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, the economy, their boss, their spouse, anyone and anything but themselves. But here's the truth. As long as you're blaming others, you're giving away your power. You're saying, my life is in someone else's hands. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you take back that power. You say, no matter what happens, I have the ability to respond in a way that serves me. This is incredibly empowering. It puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. This doesn't mean you blame yourself when things go wrong. It means you take responsibility for finding solutions, for learning from challenges, for making the best of every situation. It's about being proactive rather than reactive. Let's talk about goal setting for a moment. When you act as if everything always works out for you, your approach to setting and achieving goals changes. Instead of setting goals from a place of lack, I need to achieve this to be happy, you set goals from a place of growth and excitement. You set bigger goals because you're not afraid of failure. You pursue your dreams with more enthusiasm because you trust that the journey will be rewarding regardless of the outcome. And paradoxically, by not being so attached to the outcome, you often achieve your goals more easily. This mindset also allows you to enjoy the journey more. Too often we get so focused on the destination that we forget to appreciate the path that's taking us there. But when you act as if everything always works out for you, find joy in the process, in the growth, in the lessons learned along the way. Now, I want to address something important. This mindset isn't about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect all the time. It's about approaching problems with a solution-oriented mindset. It's about asking better questions. Instead of asking, why does this always happen to me, you ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? Instead of asking, what if I fail, you ask, what if I succeed? What's the best that can happen? The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. When you act as if everything always works out for you, you naturally start asking better questions. And better questions lead to better answers, which lead to better actions, which lead to better results. Let's talk about the role of imagination in this mindset. Einstein once said, imagination is more important than knowledge when you act as if everything always works out for you. You're essentially using your imagination to create a better reality for yourself. You're imagining a world where opportunities abound, where challenges are just disguised blessings, where every experience is a chance to learn and grow. And here's the amazing thing. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what's real. By consistently imagining positive outcomes, you're training your brain to look for and create those outcomes in your real life. This is why visualization is such a powerful tool. Athletes use it to improve their performance. Business leaders use it to achieve their goals. And you can use it too, to reinforce this mindset of acting as if everything always works out for you. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and vividly imagine your ideal life. See yourself confidently handling challenges, joyfully pursuing your goals, gratefully appreciating all the good in your life. The more real you can make this in your mind, the more you'll find yourself naturally acting this way in your daily life. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great, Jim, but what about when truly terrible things happen? What about loss, tragedy, serious illness? And that's a valid question. Life does sometimes throw us curveballs that seem impossible to spin into something positive. But here's the thing, acting as if everything always works out for you isn't about denying the pain or difficulty of these situations. It's about maintaining hope and looking for growth opportunities even in the darkest times. It's about saying, this is incredibly hard and I wouldn't have chosen this. But since it's happening, how can I use it to become stronger, more compassionate, more appreciative of life? It's about trusting that even if you can't see it now, there's a lesson or a gift hidden in this experience. Some of the most inspiring people in history are those who have faced incredible adversity and used it as fuel for personal growth and to help others. They didn't choose their circumstances, but they chose their response to those circumstances. Remember, acting as if everything always works out for you doesn't mean everything will always be easy or pleasant. It means trusting that you have the strength and resilience to weather any storm, and that you'll come out the other side stronger and wiser. Let's talk about the concept of reframing. Reframing is a powerful tool in the arsenal of someone who acts as if everything always works out for them. It's about changing the way you look at a situation to find a more empowering perspective. For example, instead of seeing a job loss as a disaster, you might reframe it as an opportunity to pursue a career you're truly passionate about. Instead of seeing a relationship breakup as a failure, you might reframe it as a chance to grow and prepare yourself for an even better relationship in the future. Reframing doesn't change the facts of a situation, but it changes your emotional response to those facts. And when you change your emotional response, you change the actions you take, which ultimately changes your results. This ties into another important aspect of this mindset, emotional intelligence. When you act as if everything always works out for you, become more aware of your emotions and more skilled at managing them. You learn to use your emotions as information rather than letting them control you. For instance, if you feel frustrated, instead of lashing out or giving up, you might ask yourself, what's this frustration telling me? What needs to change? How can I use this energy constructively? By doing this, you turn potentially negative emotions